Miss Rebecca Morris walks into a bar, and what does she order?
She orders an Aperol Spritz light on the Aperol.
Light on the Aperol.
Yes.
So you did order an Aperol Spritz light on the Aperol. Let me ask you, why do you choose light on the Aperol?
I just like it for color. I prefer just, more Prosecco.
Yep.
It can be a little too bitter sometimes.
Yes.
And I just like just a tad.
So the way I like to do my spritzes, I like to start with the Aperol. I like the orange to already get in there. Sometimes, the fruit is usually at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the mixing to do because it doesn't always get it all the way through if it's sitting at the top. So I usually will go like this. I'll let the orange and the Aperol, make friends in the beginning. Then I also prefer an Aperol Spritz, obviously with less or no soda water and a little bit of Aperol. It's kind of like a Bellini or a mimosa with just like a touch of orange.
Exactly. We want mimosas with a ton of orange juice.
Yeah,
it's like an eyedropper amount.
Exactly. We want to get to the good stuff, which is obviously the bubbles. So, yes. And Aperol Spritz, it's crazy. Aperol Spritzes have made their comeback. They are the cocktail. I think it was like 7 years ago when Old Fashions made their comeback and everyone was drinking an Old Fashioned. Mm-hmm. People had just turned 21 and they wanted an Old Fashioned. And like I said, I'm from Vegas where like it was vodka Red Bulls and like shots of Jaeger and shots of Patron. And now everyone is drinking cocktails.
Yeah.
So, and I love that. So.
Yeah. I've always been a spritz girl. Spritzes or martinis.
Okay. And what kind of martini if you're drinking a martini?
Vodka.
Okay.
Slightly dirty.
Okay.
With olives.
So, are you with this girl dinner? Are we with this girl dinner? Or are you ordering your martinis with fries, French fries?
I actually just did that the other day. I went and sat at a bar and had a martini and fries, and it was the perfect meal.
It is also, it's crazy how these things have always been in existence, but the right type of branding where they just like remind you to put them together and just a little martini and a little fry. So
totally.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Spritz. Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Yes, cheers. Perfect amount of Aperol with the perfect amount of orange.
Perfect.
And we're mixed all the way.
Spot on.
That's it. All right. Cheers to Italy. If we could be on the Amalfi Coast, we would
right?
be.
Hopefully in a couple months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah, we should. We should take a trip
Let's
there.
Let's do it.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
And Rebecca Morris, welcome to Now We Sip Champagne.
Thank you.
And now we are sipping on Aperol Spritzes. So cheers. Thank you so much for being here.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
It's lovely to see you.
You too.
So I always like to give like a little introductory, obviously an intro. Some of the guests that I have on the podcast are people that I know, people that I have a history with, and then sometimes they are guests that I just meet and they have a spark and I can sense that about them and I just know that I want to get to know them a little bit more because we met at a What Now a function. Yep. We were both invited, and I remember seeing you, and we just briefly met, and you had such an energy and a spark about you, and I was like, I would love to get to know this woman more, and then come to find out that, you're the creative director of your own company, House of Concetto.
See?
And and honestly, that's where it ends as far as what I know. So now I wanted to bring you on to Now Sip Champagne because this is about hospitality professionals and what they do and why they do it, and a lot of times we're in the same rooms with one another, but that backstory of how they got started and why they do what they do and why they're passionate about what they're passionate about.
Right.
This is where we bring this to life. So, like I said, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that intro. That's so sweet. I feel the same about you. I feel like we just connected and I was like, you are a star and I am so excited to get to know you more.
Well, like attracts like, so stars stay within that same orbit. A star knows a star.
Yeah,
so that's how it
real
goes.
Recognizes real.
Yeah, and we're always at a lot of events. There's a lot of people and a lot of really great people, but there's sometimes, you just take it to that next level. So let's start from the beginning. So I know now you're a Jersey girl.
Yes.
You're a Jersey girl right off of Wyckoff Avenue, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
And obviously you're a big city girl. You're a New York City girl now, and you're in the events. You have your own company. So let's just start at the very beginning. So as far as to what your path was, maybe what your initial direction was, and maybe it was always events and hospitality, but let's get into it, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always events and hospitality right off the bat, but it was always kind of underlying in whatever I did. I went to school and I got a degree in business and marketing, but when I was in my sorority, I was the social chair. So I was planning all of the parties, all of the events. I was volunteering to, make all of the philanthropy gatherings happen and things like that. I graduated. I went to school in South Carolina. I came back up to the city, and I worked in finance.
Oh.
I hated it.
Oh my gosh, I worked in finance and I hated it.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yes!
It's literally the worst.
Oh my gosh, with the vest and all the
Oh gosh,
yes.
I had no business being there.
Yeah.
But my best friend is a wealth management advisor, and she's like, "Oh, I can get you a job. You can be on this team, and help them. And then you can become a producer." And I was there for a year, and I was like, I can't. I hate this so much. I did love some aspects of it, like planning the holiday parties.
Yes.
So I planned a whole holiday scavenger hunt around Bryant Park. I planned our client appreciation getaways, things like that. And to the point where my bosses sat me down at one point and they're like, listen, we love you. You do great work, but you light up when it's time to plan a party.
Yeah.
When it's time to call clients and talk to them and thank them and go figure out a gift bag to thank them for their service or their connections and whatever we did with them that year.
Right.
They said, you just need to maybe pursue this because we've never seen you this excited. Certainly not doing finance.
Did you say, you're welcome?
I said,
Yeah.
actually, I have been looking around at jobs, and I had got the job of being the office director of the Playboy Club in New York City. Yes.
Okay.
So it was only open for a few years. They were trying to revive it and revive the brand. It was on West 47th and 11th.
Yeah.
So not a great
Area,
location.
right, yeah.
But it was fantastic. It was attached to a hotel, which was a part of it as well. It was right across from the Sky Building.
Okay.
So I started there. I absolutely loved it. Within a few months, I became the event director and the director of membership. So I helped build up the membership program. We had different tiers. We had a Bentley that would come pick up all the members when they wanted to come to the club. I got to scout out, different tickets and events and perks for all of the membership tiers. Mm-hmm. And I was in heaven. I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I was so happy. I was so excited. I loved meeting people. I loved helping people.
Everyone's favorite bunny.
Yeah, exactly. There were bunnies. We actually had a bunny manager, which I'm still friends with Alexis, who was the bunny manager.
Fun.
Yeah. And I'm actually still friends with a lot of the bunnies. I was in Miami recently, and I was at Mila, and I saw one of them walk by, and she's the manager there now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
so
honey,
it's
I
like,
know you.
yeah, I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I absolutely loved it so much, and I learned a lot. We did a lot of big events. We did a lot of creative events. It really helped me grow. And then COVID happened. So they went out of business, unfortunately, in New York, stayed home in New Jersey with my family, and decided to start my own events company during COVID, which wasn't the easiest thing to do.
No, that's an impossible thing to do.
Right.
Very brave of you.
Yes, but it's what I loved, and I said, I'll set the groundwork right now, and when we're through this, we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah.
So I created a platform. I hosted virtual parties.
Oh, wow.
I did a girls bubble bath series where we'd all be in our tubs and just talk and gossip. And I'd send them cocktail kits and we'd all make them. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And people got into it. We do workout. We do different themes, fashion shows, philanthropy, all of this online. So once we were able to get out, we were ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great.
And so I started just reaching out to different clients, different members from the Playboy Club, letting them know I have my own events planning company. If I ever get anyone's help with anything, I started reaching out to restaurants and kind of just building my Rolodex. I also just love to network. So I make it a point to be networking, whether it's something like at the event we met at, or I go to the Harvard Club for their networking night first Monday of every month. My friend brings me, and I'll go and just try and work the room.
Yeah.
So that's just who I am and what I love. So it was easy and it made sense.
Mm-hmm. Do you think did that come from either of your parents, or did you come up in a party household, or did you come up, where do you feel like you kind of pulled that from?
I would say both of my parents are very outgoing and personable. Mm-hmm. My dad was in finance, but he was hysterical. And my mom was a paralegal, but she also was very outgoing and like did whatever she could get her hands on. Was the president of our PTA. We call her Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec because she's like, they asked her to run for mayor one year and she's just does it all and she gives back. And so I think that's really a lot of the reason why I am the way I am, because I saw her doing that and I just wanted to be like her.
Well, the thing is, you know, I talk a lot of times about we're all born with this genetic cocktail, these ingredients that make us who we are.
Oh, I love that.
And there's certain things, you know, there are people that are meant for that 9 to 5. Like I said, the thing about finance for me, it was just like, not only was it, and I was making a ton of money, sure.
Yeah.
But it was so boring. And, you know, you sit at a desk and the only thing you do is, you know, you're on the computer and such. And for some people that's enough. But for the creatives, for the ones that were like lives inside of them, that we want to connect with others. And, you know, same thing with both of my parents. They were crazy back then, but our house was that party house. And it wasn't just like, you know, Christmas time. It was like we had the real Santa and we had real reindeer and everyone was getting like a real PlayStation or something. It was like a wild house. So I definitely came up in a party house. Well, I was also raised in Caesar's Palace, you know, at the time where like my mother was a boss and so she would put me in her office or my babysitter or whatever. So definitely one of these, you know, loud and engaging environments is something that I've always gravitated towards as well. And so it kind of lives inside because, you know, for some people, and we need the 9 to 5ers, we need, you know, of all the shifts. Like my mom's a dealer, you know, you have the day shift, you have the swing shift, you have the graveyard shift. So we need all the shifts. We need all the people of all walks of life. And obviously, you know, I own bars. And so the party people, the event planning people, like this is where we come alive the most.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, in finance, there's like a lot of pressure, right? Whether it's trades or whether it's, you know, acquiring a new client or there's always pressure in certain fields. But, you know, some people have no idea the amount of pressure to execute a flawless event. I always say you are this, you know, you absorb all the tension for the client. They don't understand that all you're doing is putting out fires every single second. You're a firefighter, right? And someone's going to let you down. The flowers is going to let you down. The DJ is going to let you down. The food's going to let you down. They forgot to place this order. They sent you the wrong order. This one came yellow. It was supposed to be blue. And all the while you're like, no problem. And then you're basically like, you don't breathe until that final.
Yeah.
And so it takes, you know, it's not just planning a party where, you know, it's something that, you know, mom plans a party for her 5-year-old and we get a cake and we blow it out. No. And especially when it comes to like large scale events, large dollars, large contracts, large clients that expect the best from you, the pressure is real.
Oh, for
and so it's really, it takes a quite a talented and strong and savvy individual to be able to be an event planner. You know, yeah, you can do it because you love parties, but you got to be sharp. You got to be able to take anything that's thrown at you last minute and be able to lead your team. And when, you know, the shit hits the fan, whatever, you have to be able to just take it, keep it moving, and then, like, you know, like we said, just show up for the client. And it's also that challenge, right? Yeah. We love that intensity, that peak, that rise, and, you know, that challenge of can we do it? It pushes us to our own limits as to can I pull this off?
Yep.
Can I? And they come to you with their different requests, and maybe it's even last minute. You know, even if you've talked about something with a client,
usually last minute.
It's usually last minute.
It's more so last minute
and
than
they're
ever
like day before. They're like, by the way, can we get real ducks?
Like 10 more guests, and we need to write the, you know.
And everyone's also allergic to the menu that we already said we agreed upon.
That's a big one. Yeah,
that's a fun one. Everyone's gonna die if there's, you know, some sort of legume, things like this, and then you're just like. We did discuss this before, but and also
we'll figure it out.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Event planners is not a position to be scoffed at. They're you know, not that I'm saying that, you know, surgeons and event planners are exactly the same, but the pressure is very serious, and either you have a great event or you have a great surgery, you don't. But no, I you know, I know myself, you know, after years and years of events and working for different clients, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Absolutely.
So, okay. And obviously, you know, when you have this energy about you and it just comes to, you know, and especially in finance, I'm surprised when they, you know, you would be a perfect, you know, investor relations
Right.
person,
Right.
right? To go out to get those clients to. That's also an important part of finance is to have someone that can put these events together because you're showcasing things to different investors. You want to get their millions of dollars or you want to get whatever. So, but I'm so glad that you went out and you did it on your own. And opening up a business during a pandemic and, transitioning again, just like you said, like, okay, you don't have brick and mortars. You can't throw events. People can't even be around one another. What else can you do? And I love that. That bubble bath thing is like.
Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. And you're keeping people connected in a time where we couldn't be connected in the way that we're used to. But again, you are redirecting. You're taking your talent and your skill and you're saying, okay, now, I can't go right. I got to go left or I got to go in multiple directions, but I'm still going to do what I do best, which is bringing people together.
Right.
And you did that. And I guarantee you provided them memories and you provided them relief and joy in a time when it was very difficult to find joy.
You. And I will say, having that brief background in finance, it does help, because a lot of what you're saying is, yes, it's fun and it's planning a party, but it's not just that. It's all the behind the scenes, the logistics, owning a business, all of the moving parts. You have to be sharp and you have to be on top of it. You can't just be thinking about the florals.
Right. No, it's a very, it's a structured, administrative, Excel spreadsheets, invoicing, responding to things. So definitely, I agree. The admin side of finance will help you with that because you can't really mess around when it comes to those kinds of clients. So, and that's why we take on jobs, even if we don't. If it's not necessarily for us, it's also why we date. It's also why we try on things. It may not be, for us in the long run, but if we can learn something, pull something from it, and then add it to our repertoire and add it to our tool belt as to,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, like you said, about the investor relations, it's funny because a lot of what House of Concetto does now is we'll connect investors or brands with sponsorship opportunities for events, like the Masters or the Met Gala. So I will broker those deals for them. And even for individuals, I'll be hosting an event and someone will just recently, my friend is a startup, this AI health company, and we were just at my event and we ran into these investors that were just happened to be there from Norway and they invested. And so now I'm helping him just find people just because I'm always in these environments. I'm always trying to meet people and talk to people and make sure everyone's happy. So that is what a lot of how it's married a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And business is the same across the board. It doesn't really matter what the business is. Business comes down to, connection, interaction, how you conduct yourself as a business person, whether you're a dentist, whether you're an event planner, whether you're a trader. It really doesn't matter how you conduct your business. Are you a person of your word, making that connection, delivering to the client or delivering to the other person on that side of on the other side of the table when it comes to business? Are you delivering what you said you are? And then following through and, trying to find a place where you're both happy, right? Because that's what business is about. If you need investors, okay, these people want to invest in a company. So business is the same across the board. I always say the 3 C's of a great business is communication, consistency, and cleanliness, right? So like, do you communicate well? Are you consistent? Are things clean? Are your books clean? There's just all the other stuff that you need to have clean. So yeah, businesses, and that's why it's also very important to learn how different businesses operate, right? Because then you have, again, you're essentially speaking more languages. We all speak, the universal language, but having different variations. So, and speaking of language, so tell me how we are Concetto.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Let's get into Concetto.
Cheers. Well,
Cheers,
there's clearly an
Sally.
Italian theme with me. Studied abroad in Florence. But I grew up, my godfather is Italian, and we kind of grew up Italian, even though I'm not quite Italian, but I was raised Italian, I like to say. I'm in New Jersey. And so I learned to speak it from him growing up, and then I took classes all throughout middle school and high school, and I studied abroad in Florence, absolutely fell in love with it. Came back, named my dog Lupo, which is Wolf. And then when I was starting the company, I just really wanted to convey this sense of hospitality and get how important gathering and connection was that I felt that the Italian people cherish and prioritize. So I just was thinking, I don't want this to just be events. I want it to be like a concept from start to finish. It's world building. making all of these different things happen at once. And I was thinking it's a concept from start to finish. It's a conceptualized theme or event. And so Concetto means concept. So it's the house of concepts.
I love that.
Thank
babe.
you.
Yeah. Oh my
Thank you.
God. I mean, in lots of different ways. So I always think about, the way you say your business, you have to say it multiple times. And you've also chosen something that is not an American word. So you also are now teaching someone to say concetto if you want them to say it the right way.
Right.
And, the house of concepts, that's very powerful. And then to even be able to say HOC, that's also very powerful because you have to say it different ways. When I think of a brand, whether it's, CP, Champagne Problems, UES, Upper East Side, whatever it may be, you're saying it in different forms. You have to say it quick. You have to say it long. You have to explain it. I remember when I did UES and people were like, is this oos? And I'm like, no. And that's fine at first glance.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about the neighborhoods of New York City, you're from South Dakota, maybe it's oos to you. But and people were like, do you not want to have to explain? I'm like, no, I want to have to explain because then this way it comes with a little bit of a story where you let somebody know, well, in New York City, there are different neighborhoods. And I opened up UES on the Upper East Side, being an Upper East Sider, and I did it at a time when there were no cocktail bars and ice cream shops on the Upper East Side. So I specifically did it for the neighborhood that I loved, that I lived in, and named it that to give it to that neighborhood. So there's such a story behind it that I don't want to change it from oos. I want to keep it UES. So I love that you did that because certainly, like I said, I'm Syrian, and a lot of people compare Syrians to Italians. A lot of times, people will confuse me if they don't necessarily can pinpoint the Middle East. They'll
My
think,
best friend is Syrian, actually.
Okay, so it's the same. It's just the dishes are different, but everything is the same. It's a lot of drinking. It's a lot of loud talking. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of come-ons. And then, usually someone is fighting and their hands are like this. And it's all about a lot of this. So.
The amount of drinks I've spilled just talking with my hands is incredible.
And, what Arabs drink in Iraq is what Italians drink in wine. And everyone knows, even if they're not Italian, what you're going to sit down to at an Italian dinner table and what to expect.
Right.
I mean, it's such an important part of all of our cultures and history, especially, it's so nice in New York, too, to be able to have the authentic Italian round tables and to experience that, but all the authentic restaurants and stuff. But
absolutely.
So I love that you use that, because hospitality, so it stems from being hospitable, and it was first a concept of inviting people into your homes. And that's where the first party started. Come to my home. Come and, Martha Stewart was at the forefront of this.
Yep.
Come into my home and let me, welcome you as my guest, and let me feed you, let me drink you, let me, let me introduce you to this great person, listen to some sounds, and just like feel this sort of way, because in all of our lives, it's the, wake up and do this and go to work and the this and that, but it is when we get to relax over a cocktail or something, great food, we break bread. That's the Italian way. Like we're going to break bread and we're going to rap about things. Deals are done over the dinner table. People fall in love over the dinner table. People break up over the dinner table. Life happens over the dinner table.
That's what life is about, about connecting.
Yes, definitely. So what a powerful name, what a powerful concept. So, okay, yeah, I love it. All right, so now tell me right now, do you focus on, specific events and clients, or how are you going out, acquiring new clients? Where are you essentially throwing your events, or how does that work?
So I have a lot of private clients that I will be all over the country. I just went to Miami for one. We did a Valentine's Day ball in his private house. It was amazing. I should be better at posting on Instagram and social medias about everything I do, but I'm just so busy doing what I do.
Yeah.
But I acquire most of my clients just from word of mouth and from actually being at the event and mingling and talking to people. The host will say, this is who threw this, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I need your information, can you do this for me, or that, or just telling them what I do and showing them how I do it in real time and the joy I get from it.
That's I hate to interrupt but it's really important. People, we talk in terms of like a back of the house person and a front of the house person. I'm more of a back of the house. I'm like, the behind the scenes, like the builder. I'm not always the greatest at being the front of the house person, but with events and like what you do, you have to be equally strong, front of the house, back of the house. And when I say front, is that you are that, and you embody everything that you're selling, essentially. You embody your company from the way that you look, the way that you present, the way that you speak. You're very personable. Like I said, we had just met, and already I knew you were somebody. So it lives inside of you to just be that person, which is, your own gift and talent.
Thank you.
And I can see, and it's great that is the way that you're, acquiring clients, because people can, do events, but if you don't have that je ne sais quoi, if you don't have that little extra oomph, yes, and you need it.
That concetto.
Yeah, that concetto, honey. Because I'm sure that's why clients gravitate towards you, and they're also proud to be like, this is my coordinator, this is my planner, this is the one that spearheaded this event, and then they're proud to introduce you to others. You can't be shy in the public arena.
Exactly.
Whereas, like I said, there are certain professions where it is just back of the house, some tech people that you don't even know, or, certain builders or things like that. Like, I love doing construction. Like, people don't know who builds buildings, they know maybe the designers or whatever. So it's important that you're equally as strong front of the house and back of the house. So,
absolutely. And actually, more often than not, my clients will invite me to join as a guest.
Yes, exactly.
And, sit down for dinner with them. And, but obviously I'm still like making sure everything's happening, and I have my team. But it's great, and I really enjoy it. And I also think it's really important to give back. So I do a lot of philanthropy consulting as well for galas and events and things like that, just to make it better and to attract hopefully more committee members and also more donors, and get people excited to be a part of it, and hopefully make an impact.
And so let me ask you, as far as doing events, like, do you primarily in New York City, right?
Yes.
Or do you, and is there some, when you have to do an event and you want to go to a certain venue, do you ever have to get like an event, a trial, like liquor license or permit for that, or you just use the venues and you will contact like the venue with your client, and then you guys would build the event together? Or
so it's a mix. I would say it's obviously easier to just have a plug and play venue where you can have everything set up. They already have a liquor license and insurance and everything.
Right.
But I have done, private events out at someone's house in the Hamptons, or in a spot where we need to bring in everything from A to Z, which is obviously a lot of work. But either way, I enjoy it. And a lot of times clients will come to me telling me exactly what they want, like exactly what type of venue. So that makes it a little easier too, to be able to be like, okay, here's the list of what I think would fit and what I think would work and who's available. And then we'll kind of work from there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so then let's get into, because all of this is good, but let's get into some of the tea here. So, well, tell me about some of your favorite events, and then tell me about some of your least favorite events.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Oh, okay. I love sporting events.
Oh, okay.
I helped do a NetJets collaboration with the Masters a few years ago.
Okay.
And I loved helping, but it's chaos. There's so many moving parts in any, especially golf. It's incredible.
Really?
So I really enjoyed that. I did a dinner for Saks recently, and it was about 40 people, and it was for a philanthropy, and it was so incredible the way nobody really knew each other going in. And at the end of the night, everyone was like hugging and crying and just talking about how impactful the event was and how what we were raising money for was. And it was really special to see that people from the fashion industry, from finance, everywhere, just coming together over a meal.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you, because that does happen in events where you walk in and it's kind of stalemate, right?
Yeah.
It's like prom and everyone's like in their corner. So how do you facilitate? How do you marry? How do you blend? How do you get the room vibing?
Exactly. That's actually what I love to do, and that's why I love to be on site. So I will just, I'll either start a conversation, talk to someone else, and make a connection. Introduce them. You just said you were looking for this. This is what they do. It's perfect. And I love connecting people. I really, really do. And luckily I have a big network where I'm able to do that
Yeah.
easily. And I'm always doing that, even if it's not at an event. If I meet someone on the street or just a friend is mentioning they're looking for something, and I could give you 3 great names of people I trust and know, that really makes me happy. But also, I just will get the party started myself.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm the first one on the dance floor. That's where it comes from my parents. My dad, my mom, always the first ones on the dance floor. Also, my older brother is a Broadway actor.
Oh, wow.
So we always grew up watching him perform. And he actually met his wife starring opposite each other on Mamma Mia on Broadway.
Oh, shit.
So
amazing.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I always looked up to him too. So I was always in theater growing up. I always was taught to be confident and believe in myself. And I think that really shines through in what I do, because I do love meeting people, and I have no problem going up to someone, introducing myself, making them feel comfortable, making sure they meet all of the other people in the room that they should know or want to know. And that's really what I like to do, and one way or another.
Yeah, well, honey, I mean, like I always talk about, like, especially in hospitality, you know, there's so many performers, so many creatives that work through this industry.
Sure.
It's the one industry you can kind of pick it up, put it down, you can bartend, you can serve while you're pursuing. Like,
Right.
once upon a time, I was a ballet dancer. That's what I went to school for.
Wow.
I have one of my bartenders. He was the genie in Aladdin on Broadway. Like,
I
so,
love it.
you know, even my producer here, he's a professional singer. So
That's
you have
amazing.
all of these creatives
Yeah.
that, you know, need to still pay the bills, or they kind of pop in or
Absolutely.
out. But I can say that, you know, back to, again, your parents and being brave. You have to be brave
Yeah.
to be the one that's the first on the dance floor. I picture Elaine from Seinfeld, where she's
Yes.
like, let's just get it
Let's just do
done.
it.
But it gets the party started. and
does.
maybe you're embarrassed, or, you know, like they think about it for a second, but it always ends up for the better. And people need that connector. Like, you're a vital part of that, because when we do events and we have staff, like and we'll get into, you know, what you think when we have bars, but then we'll have parents that want to do like a 14th, 15th, 16th birthday because it's cool to have it in the speakeasy, and the parents like it, but then what do you do with a 16-year-old where it's just kind of like a bar?
Right.
And then their biggest ask is, can you just please make sure that the kids are not on their phone the whole time? So you're
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do?
Oh.
So then I have to tell myself, guys, you're going to look into some TikTok dances.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, if we have to pull out a game of Twister and teach them what it is, you're going to have to get in there, because we have to deliver to the client. The
Right.
client wants their kids to be off their phone for 3 hours. They did choose a bar, which we can't get them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
it's,
You got to do your market research on TikTok.
yeah, you got to do something to get their attention
For
to
sure.
get it going. But like you said, you know, having that inherent gift of being a performer, of being brave, of pulling from your parents and your family, and like you said, being confident, honey, that's so important. And having that confidence to step on the dance floor, to get other people to follow in your, because it always just takes one.
It's just one.
It's always just, everyone wants to dance.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to dance.
So true.
Everyone wants to get out there. They're just always looking, who's it going to be? You see their
Yeah.
shoulders moving here a little bit. And you just need that one brave soldier. So remember,
slide on out.
you are leading the troops every single
Oh, for
time.
sure.
And obviously you win. You get the W, because like
Yeah.
you said, at the end of your event, everyone, and it just needed one brave person, and that was you.
Yeah.
So that's really incredible. So, okay. All right. So golf, sports, you love.
Yes.
And what are some events that maybe you're not your first choice?
I will say children's parties are tough. The parents can be very demanding.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to take a sip before I
Yeah,
I can't believe I
yeah,
even
of
say
course.
this. Do you have a word that you refer to certain clients? Do you have a word? I have a word that we use. It's an exclusive word when dealing with clients. I'm going to tell you this word, but do you have a word? It's hard because you don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the word. So
I just have a look. I'll look at my team and we know.
So, because, you know, we do a lot of this planning via email, some
Yeah.
clients on the phone, and some people, you know, we'll have certain events where our favorite, I'm not going to lie, are usually the husbands that want to plan something for the wives.
Yes.
They reach out, they're like, here's the card.
Here's the card.
Hi.
Full creative. Yeah.
See you
it's
on the day of the event. Like,
It's perfect.
Those are our favorite.
Yeah.
And, you know, we hit it every time, and
Yeah.
then they get to look like the hero because, honey, good job, right?
Yeah.
The term that I like to use for certain clients is the word chewy, okay?
Ah.
I like to just say chewy, and when I think of chewy, I think of, like, you know, maybe a tough piece of steak you have to get through.
Exactly, yep.
Maybe a piece of gum you just kind of, they're chewy, as in
Yeah.
you just got to keep on going.
Yeah, they can
because
still be delicious, but they're little hard to get there.
Because, you don't want to use words like annoying. You don't want to use words because certain people do require more attention than others.
Right.
Certain people do require not only the email confirmation, but the phone confirmation. And then they want to go over it again.
Right.
And then they just need their hands held.
Yes.
And that can be a little trying at times, and you don't want to put the bad vibes on the event either, because you're essentially building something with someone and you are going along this journey, and heaven forbid it's specifically the birthday girl that's planning her own event, or it's, get off the phone and you're like, kidding me? We just did this again. But that's when you go to your team, and I always tell my guys, okay, this client happens to be chewy, but we are professionals.
I like that.
We're going to keep chewing. So next time you have a client that's kind of pushing you, you're saying, we have a chewy client, guys. We have a chewy client. We're going to keep chewing. We're going to keep chewing.
Just keep on chewing.
Eventually we get to swallow and it's over. And even though it seems like a lot at the moment, it pushes you to your level of professionalism as well, because
For sure.
You can't expect every client to be a dream, and you get those ones that are like that.
Right.
So you have to balance it out with the ones that are not sometimes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I'm sure you're also,
familiar
with somebody that wants the world but has a low budget, but wants, the moon and stars, but has just changed.
Oh, yeah.
This is the things where you have to kind of pull some of your creative ability
I
out.
once had a client, I was doing like a whiskey tasting in an exclusive liquor cellar in the Upper East Side. And he wanted, it was a dinner for 10 people in this tiny little space, and I brought in a chef, and he wanted a full gourmet meal for all these high profile guests, but he didn't want us to cook anything on site, and everything had to be warm, and we couldn't bring in a oven, we couldn't do this or that, but it had to be perfect. And so we somehow figured it out. We did like a carpaccio to begin with. We did some tuna tartare, and then we were able to bring in like preheated things that were warmers, whatever. The chef was incredible, and we figured it out. And every single client that day wanted my business card because we did a great job, even though it was a headache the whole time. But the whole time the team was like, okay,
this is really true.
This
guys, that's exactly it though. I want like this amazing meal, but no cooking. No this, but dinner.
And he didn't want any smell. He didn't want any smell in the place.
Of course not. Why would you want smell when there's food, Rebecca?
That's crazy. So we were like spraying Febreze.
Yeah.
But everyone there enjoyed it. They're like, this smells so great. We love that the whole store has this aroma now. Yeah. And I'm like,
you're welcome.
Trust me.
Yeah. Kudos to you, baby, because that's it. That is that special superpower of only the event planner.
Yeah. That
will be, you get tasked this ridiculous, ask, and you do have to figure it out. There is no.
Right.
And they don't think that their ask is ridiculous in their mind.
Right.
Makes just perfect sense. And even though you're like, well, logistically, you know, but then you figure it out. And then once you kind of get past that, every single time you do get past, it is just another notch on your belt.
Yeah.
And it's just building you to be stronger for the biggest events. I used to work for the Yankees, and I remember one time Jenny Steinbrenner, we had to have a certain blue M&M because it's the navy blue. It was a certain number of the navy blue. We didn't have it on premise. We had every single blue M&M because she had her own suite, and we didn't have, so we had to go to the M&M world in Times Square. Even though there were 65 different blues of M&M, it wasn't the right, and I don't even think she ate one M&M, but it's like one of those things where I will always remember going in and like, we need this for Jenny Steinbrenner for the Yankees right now. Like there's no, so.
But it builds character, and like doing things that you don't want to do, and doing it from the bottom up, you learn how to then lead a team that has to do that. I mean, I've had to jump in and shave truffles for guests or make a cocktail, and it's like, you just got to get your hands dirty sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, you have your own company, you can lead a team, you can say, I've been through this, and you pay that forward, that experience, and it just makes you, just levels up your shit, 10 times. So, okay, so now what is like next on deck? What are some big aspirations for your company? Where do you see yourself going? What's next?
So actually, I'm in the midst of planning and creating to launch an academy called Concetto Academy.
Okay.
So we're going to have different workshops and sessions around the United States where people can come and learn how to host an event, whether it's in their home and they just want to learn to put together a tablescape and choose a menu, or if they want to be an event planner and start their own business or work somewhere that will hire them to do events and teach them the corporate side of it. So we're going to have all different workshops for different types of events and different aspects of events and different aspects of the business so people can come and learn how to do it themselves.
That's amazing. You're going to be your Kris Jenner with Masterclass.
Thank you.
Yes. Honestly, like, you know,
That's great.
Martha would be proud. I imagine you have Martha on your radar as far as, you know, people like I love her as a business person.
I love her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. She lives right near my mom in Maine, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, like, she's always been a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah, she's to anyone, everyone,
yeah.
but certainly the people that are building stuff in their home. She started it.
Right.
She's the queen of that. That's what she did, and she was always very passionate about, you know, being the best host and everything, every little detail and all quality and stuff like that. Just really, you know, when it was just like a housewife throwing a party, she turned that into an entire economy, literally an entire economy. So I'm sure if you haven't seen her that biography she just recently had.
I have.
Yeah. So anyway,
good.
so you bring in this masterclass, you teach them how to at home and then out in the world, because that's also something that a lot of industries changed because of the pandemic. A lot of people also went online. A lot of businesses were born online, you know, creators and such. But that's also something you can teach, is to now teach them how to plan a party, execute a party, but video a party, video setting up that party, taking down that party, so that they can also build their online portfolio if they want to as well. But yeah, that's still an industry that is necessary, because at the end of the day, you know, I say this a lot, we've learned to do a lot of things at home, eating at home, drinking at home, a lot of things at home, but connection, being around other human beings, we still need that. We still need that vibe. We still need to feel alive. Like with as much as AI and stuff is necessary, but people still want to get together and talk to one another, see each other, experience one another. So it's still an industry that is needed. And it's great that you're taking, you know, what you've learned, you now have it as your own business, but now you're going to take that business and pay it forward to multiple businesses, and they're going to continue on, and it's this ripple effect of where they're going to go, and it's always going to like stem from you. So I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's get into the food and beverage side of things, as far as like what you personally like. Do you have like bars and restaurants? Like, give me some of your faves in the city.
Oh, okay. So one of my good friends actually recently opened a restaurant. It's a French place in the West Village called Syrah, and they have, actually, I think it's one of the best burgers in New York City. It's incredible. I do like to hang out at the membership clubs a lot.
Okay. Those have made a huge comeback in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's kind of getting a little oversaturated, but if they do it right, they do it right.
Yeah. Which ones are your favorites? Are you having any favorites right now?
I really like Chez Margot.
Okay, yeah.
And Kith. Ronnie Feig just opened up the new Kith Ivy. I just went to last weekend for the first time. It was incredible. Zero Bond, I hang out at sometimes for meetings. But
there's one that just opened up on Spring Street called Seven Spring. It's like back.
Yes.
This is on my list to get into. That.
I went to the opening party.
Okay.
It's great.
Is it great?
Yes.
Okay, I get coffee there every morning, so like I'm on that's on my list of like things to get in. So I'm gonna check out the club. So yeah, it's crazy. There has been this little bit of a divide as far as bars and restaurants. People with money that want to go out, they have kept it very secluded. And then you have this other, you know, people saying people are not drinking. It's true and it's not true. It's just that people are drinking differently. They're either drinking in their same circles, like members only, they want to keep it, or what I'm seeing a lot now is dive bars have really come back. The dive, the red Solo cup, cheap, non-pretend, like, you know, they've been popping up left and right. So, because literally right next to Seven Spring is Delta Charlie. And it's exactly that. It's divey or it's members only.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm seeing is a lot of the trends right now. And they're both fun.
Right. And that's what it's about. The mix of high and low. People want both. You don't just need to do one. You can go have a nice dinner and then stumble into the dive bar and have a couple of beers while you watch a game. It's the best of both worlds. And it's just it's about balance.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so then give me 3 places that you haven't tried in the city that are on your list, bars or restaurants.
Sip and Guzzle.
Okay, yeah.
I really want to try that spot.
Yeah.
Fly Fish Club.
Okay.
I also want to
Classic,
try.
yeah.
And Teresi, they just got a Michelin star.
They did just get their Michelin, yes.
And I've only been there for lunch.
Okay.
So I want to experience a dinner there.
Yes, they have yes, you'll enjoy that as well.
I
definitely.
need Italian food.
Yeah. And so being, having those Italian, that affinity, that affection towards it, do you veer towards a certain cuisine, or are you open to all and like all
I'm
things?
open to all. I actually really like to watch an Anthony Bourdain episode of somewhere or something I haven't tried.
Yeah.
And then either order in or go to a restaurant. So I recently watched one where he went to the country of Georgia. So I ordered Georgian food and ate it while I watched it. And it was so incredible. They had the boat with the cheese in it. And I tried all of this stuff that I'd never had before. It was incredible. And I was getting to learn about it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Last weekend, I went to Ivan Ramen.
Oh, yeah.
On Chef's Table.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I went on a date, and we were the last people there. We were really late, and we just walked in, sat at the bar, had the most incredible meal, and we went to the dive bar across the street. The whole staff happened to go there. We hung out with them the rest of the night. It was so fun. So it was so nice. We got that nice dinner, and then we got to hang out with them. We were asking them questions and learning about what it's like to work there and the behind the scenes. And then we went home after our date and watched the Chef's Table episode about it.
Oh, well, is this guy, this sounds like a great date, babe.
I know, it was great. It was great.
Okay, this is a good date.
It was
are
a
we
good
ready
one.
for part 2?
I know, maybe, we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, I like that. But that's one of those New York nights where you don't know where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. It lines up like that where you are having one kind of night and then you have another kind of night and it just keeps on going. But I love that. And it's crazy you say that because UES is on 89th and 2nd and just opened as a Georgia wine bar across the street. It was
interesting.
It was a Selena Rosa for years. It was a Cilantro for years. It had been many things, and then it just turned into a Georgian restaurant. So I couldn't believe that just opened up on the upper.
Have you been?
I haven't been yet.
You gotta try it.
It just opened. Yeah, I will.
Cuisine is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, okay, so we're going to go to all these places on your list and add a couple of more. Definitely, we're going to keep everything going. You're going to keep us updated. And I think also next on your list is I think you need to move into Champagne Problems and throw an event because you're fantastic. So.
I would be happy to. Let's get it going. Let's have my birthday here. Let's do it.
Cheers. That's it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Oh, my God.